had my fourth baby. So tell me why, when my husband went in to see his primary care today, 2 separate people tried to convince him not to get a vasectomy. Here's the story. When I was pregnant with my 4th child that I just had 4 months ago, my husband and I agreed we were done and that one of us should have some sort of sterilization procedure. We agreed that our plan was going to be that he gets a vasectomy. Why? Because female sterilization is a lot more complicated and comes with more risks. Not to mention the fact that I have been cut open once and had multiple vaginal deliveries. I have dealt with it all. I've gone through the first trimester morning sickness. I've had multiple vaginal births. I've had an epidural headache. I've gotten mastitis. I've had postpartum depression. My body has been broken, then healed, then broken, then healed multiple times over. It's never been a long discussion. He recognizes that it is his turn. He goes into his appointment and the nurse asks him what he wants to talk to the provider about. And one of the main things, he's been trying to get this appointment for forever, by the way, like months and months, to get the referral to go and set that up to get the vasectomy. The nurse questions him and is like, why do you want to get a vasectomy? And he's like, because I have 4 kids and we're done. What do you mean? I'm 38 years old. She basically says, well, why isn't your wife getting a tubal? And my husband, my well-educated husband, because he's married to a certified nurse midwife, says because a tubal is a lot more complicated than a vasectomy. Going back to 8th grade anatomy class, men's plumbing is on the outside. Women's plumbing is on the inside. To get to his plumbing, they make a tiny, like, little pinhole incision. Get the vas deferens, snip it, cauterize it, you're done. And then they give you adequate pain control, more pain control than I got after my vaginal births. After my husband explains to her that a vasectomy is a lot less complicated, the nurse shakes her head and tries to tell him that that's not true. He then says, my wife is a midwife. She works in women's health. This is kind of her specialty. And it is true. The nurse just looks down at her chart and kind of shakes her head, judges. She thinks that me, a woman she's never met, should go and have a surgery done. Then later, the provider comes in. The provider has on her chart, my husband can see it, talk about vasectomy, and she never brings it up. Towards the end of the visit, when she's like, okay, do you have any other concerns? My husband says, well, I would also like to talk about the vasectomy that I told the nurse about. The provider kind of brushes him off. Yeah, okay, whatever. My husband says, okay, well, what can I expect in terms of like receiving a call from the urologist? Then the provider goes on to say, well, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Like, we have to get you a mental evaluation, trying to discourage him from wanting. And he says, I'll do whatever I need to do. She leaves. Now he's waiting on the psych person to come in, and not because of the like psych evaluation for the vasectomy. He's waiting on this person to come in to just like do a screening. He comes in, the guy's about to leave. He says, hey, what about the vasectomy psych evaluation? And the guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He leaves feeling like that referral is definitely not getting put in. Why are they doing this to him? Imagine a guy goes in with his mind not entirely made up. That nurse and that provider would have 100% either convinced him not to get the vasectomy or made it so challenging for him to get it that his wife, who just gave birth, is now going to go in for an additional surgery. I just think that's gross. But what do you guys think?